Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick. We are of course talking XRP again today. So following on from yesterday's video, guys, we're going to be taking a look at what's been happening, what we think is going to happen next, and all that fantastic stuff. As I get into it, you know what to do. Hit the like button. I appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, and you'll stay up to date with all the streams and videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If of course you haven't joined us in Discord yet, link is in the description below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not check it out? There's other links down in the description as well, so check those out if they're of interest to you. Everything from hardware wallets through to Patreon, through to Bybit and BitGet and whatever. So check it all out in the description below. Okay, let's get started. XRP paired up with USDT. What did we see yesterday? What was going on? What we saw today and so forth. Okay, so yesterday we were looking at this structure. Okay, ABC upwards or WXY, however you want to look at it, doesn't really matter. 3 waves is the gist to it. Okay, no matter what kind of letters you want to assign to it. So what did we see? Well, we saw this first A wave come up here. We saw this B wave come down here. Nice 3-wave structure, just finishing us off. And then we started to see this really strong rise up here. Okay, a lot of this is driven from FOMO. Okay, so let's not kind of sugarcoat it. This whole entire piece here really is all about tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow, what do we have going on? Well, we're going to see some things get revealed with the Ripple and SEC law case, or lawsuit, I should say. And essentially, this is kind of why people are speculating and FOMOing in and kind of really driving this upwards. This is not sustainable. Okay, and unless something absolutely fantastic comes out of tomorrow, which people are speculating that is the case. But again, if that were the case, we would have seen settlement already. Okay, and so I wouldn't be too kind of optimistic at this point. There's not a smoking gun in there, I don't think. Otherwise, this wouldn't have gotten as far as it has. So we should be kind of optimistic to a degree. There's going to be maybe something good in there, maybe they're not. But understand that this is just kind of FOMO driven, speculative, and eventually this kind of dies off and jumps back down. Now, one of the things I saw yesterday is people don't fully understand, maybe they're a bit new to the space, saying, XRP is not a pump and dump. Well, unfortunately, it hasn't avoided pump and dumps. There's been groups that have organized themselves and have kind of, forced the price of XRP up and then dumped on everyone as well. Just think back to February of 2021. And for shits and giggles, of course, I can go ahead and pull this up so we can see. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the old pump and dump. It's right here. Okay, so we can take a look right in here, February. So let me grab my little pointer. We can see this, oh my God, it's going to the moon. We're pumping it up and then dumping it. Okay, so it's pump and dump. These things have happened in the past. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not pretend they didn't happen. They did happen. And let's be real about what's going on. Okay, now where we are, this is absolutely tiny. This is not a pump and dump. Don't get me wrong. That is not the same thing. But do understand the scale of things, right? When you have real FOMO, real drive, real demand coming in, you can see the price move very significantly, very sharply, and it happens very, very quickly, right? Whereas where we are right now, I mean, look, it's really insignificant. This is small stuff. Let's not get too carried away. We aren't in a bull run. We're not, going to the moon or anything like that right at this particular second. Okay. If anything, this is more like down here, this little kind of push right here. So expect a cool off, then maybe push up, then cool off, then maybe push up, then cool off, right? Or in this case, have a lawsuit dropped on you and you really come down here. So just be realistic about it. Let's not kind of, get too carried away. Let's understand what's going on and all that kind of stuff, right? So let's keep grounded, but let's also not pretend that pump and dumps haven't happened. They have, okay? So let's not pretend that that isn't the case. Okay. Let's go on. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on now, right? Let's not dive into kind of nonsense and stuff that's going on outside of the price action of the charts too much. So yeah, we kind of saw this move coming up. Now, yesterday we were talking about this being kind of our 1-to-1 ratio. I was also saying this yellow box area was a heavy area of resistance. We pushed right the way through it and confirmed it as support and bounced on out, okay? So we're up in this area of the 1-to-1. We were overbought. We knew that we had to call off. We saw this coming down here. Okay, for the most part, we were looking at this as an opportunity to maybe kind of go in short for a little bit, but obviously things changed this morning, so we exited out, and then we start to see this move upwards. Right now, this makes a little bit more sense over the structure here. We can talk about what's going on, but we are calling off again. Okay. moving up in the last hour, as you can kind of see. And I am recording this 1.5 hours ahead of schedule as well. So we don't know quite what this is going to look like. I'm going to go through what I think it's going to do. But again, this market is very unpredictable at the moment. Okay, but we are not doing anything more above and beyond a three-wave structure at the moment. But I am going to walk you through what it would look like if we were to go ahead and start trending. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this measurement. I'll move this over here. Our trend is set up here at 40.95, okay? And so at 41 cent, you know that you're trending at that point, okay? And basically what we mean by a trend is it's a 5-wave structure. So this is a 1, that's a 2, up here would be 3, we pull back for 4, they go up in 5, right? And it becomes a trend. 3-wave structures are not trends and all that kind of wonderful stuff, so we are to be a little bit concerned with that. But for now, it's a 3-wave structure. We aren't there, we aren't pushing up. Now, let's jump down into this recent kind of structure. We can go ahead and remove our 1-to-1. We know that's not there. I will remove this yellow box. We don't need that anymore. But we can take a look at this structure. What does it look like? What's going on? Is there anything of concern? Well, for the most part, it's pretty interesting. Again, we're on the 1-to-1 kind of level of things. We're not, again, creating any kind of trends or anything like that. We move this over. You can see we just pushed past the 1-to-1 and we came up to close to the 1.236, but a little bit short of it, and we're rejected. Okay, so we know that on the fib levels, we're not trending up or anything like that, but it's a bit of FOMO coming on in here. Now, the interesting part of all of this is actually lies within these kind of structures. So for example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's a 5-wave structure just here. Okay, this is an interesting one. And then of course we have another one in here. We can go 1, 2, we come up for 3, down for 4, and up for 5. So we have a 5 here. We have 3 down, we have 5 more up. This is a zigzag. Right in here is a zigzag pattern. This is basically A, B, and C, like that. Okay, and so this here has been our A wave coming up, right? So we have straight away the ability to notice that we've got is an ABC structure. The A wave doesn't really give us anything. It doesn't really give us any kind of decent structure. It looks like it's just kind of probably bouncing around that kind of 333 area, if anything, if we were to try to dissect it. But we get a very clear zigzag 535 right up the end here. And so we are coming to the close of this structure by the looks of it. Let me just tidy it up a tad. And we can kind of see, A, B, and C structure. So we know that we're kind of coming to the top here. Now we can take a look at this move. Now, historically, of course, I say historically, but with Elliott wave theory, we expect 3-wave structural moves or 3-wave corrective moves, right? And whenever we have kind of big pushes to the upside, we can kind of see them in here as well, right? 3 waves here, 3 waves here. And if we try to dissect down what's going on from here, we kind of have 1, 2, but we haven't had that third yet. Okay, so we could argue that maybe we've got to come down a bit more and cool off a little bit with XRP before we can start to really talk about maybe moving up again. And for that, we might be coming down towards that kind of 36.62 range. Might. Okay, caveat on the might, because if I come down into, I don't like doing this very often, but if we come down into a 15-minute chart, we could argue that maybe we've already completed this. We got 1, 2, and 3 waves just here, and maybe we're moving up. But again, when we start looking at that on the move up, we can kind of see that we have completed another 3-wave structure here. So, the expectation at that point is to kind of maybe see another 3-wave structure and still pull this back down into an A, B, and C structure at a much bigger level, right? So I think for the most part, we don't want to get too kind of nitty-gritty on the kind of 15 minutes and stuff like that. But essentially, I do think we have a higher probability of moving to the downside than to the upside, and are kind of reaching this kind of exhaustion point. But let's go ahead and just throw a few things in here so that we can be crystal clear. We see a bit of volume coming in, pushing us up higher here. And we do, of course, see the volume decreasing quite a bit within the last few hours. Okay, that's pretty obvious right in there. Now, we can, of course, pay close attention to the spikes. The spikes here are, of course, in the red areas. Okay, these are the areas where we are kind of setting. There's a slight increase, I guess, with this green volume at the bottom here, but very, very small stuff. Nothing to kind of get too carried away with. So this is kind of telling me that maybe the sentiment is actually a little bit more fearful right now as we start to come and cool off a bit. But this market is incredibly unpredictable, and I know how Sundays actually operate typically, okay? And typically, towards the end of a Sunday, the price tends to move up. So although Elliott wave theory is telling us that we have this move to the downside, we should be blissfully aware that actually this may reverse on us and may continue to go up. And this is also supported by our hourly stochastic RSI that can come up to this overbought area. So we've got a couple of conflicts going on here, right? We don't really fully get the true picture as to what is going on within this little area. Probably within the last kind of 4 to 5 hours. not giving us the best picture, but knowing that we're on a Sunday, knowing that the bulls tend to try to get the best possible weekly close, we might actually start to see a bit of a rise with Bitcoin. And again, Bitcoin's actually looking in a position where it might go up, and if Bitcoin goes up, then the altcoins tend to follow suit. So I'll be kind of looking at this, maybe thinking, actually, we've completed down here. Maybe we're going to start moving up in a little bit of a stronger way. And anyone who was shorting the market because they're taking a look at maybe structures such as kind of what we've got going on here with the bigger kind of B wave structures and things like that, they might be shorting the market. The market might actually go upwards and actually liquidate them. So I wouldn't put it past this crazy market that we've had at the moment. So just be really cautious with it, right? Essentially here, it does look like we're reaching the upper end of a move, and we do need to cool off a little bit. And again, you know, on the 4 hourly, that's very, very clear, right? We're overbought, we need to cool off. The 8 hour overbought needs to cool off. The daily chart overbought, it needs to cool off. And of course, the weekly is overbought and it needs to cool off. But our hourly isn't there yet. So we should be quite concerned that the momentum behind our hourly chart is still quite bullish and it isn't bearish yet. So we've got probably a few percentage points to the upside to be expected here, and it might actually lead us into more liquidations for XRP. Okay, and this is something that we spoke about with our positions on this one, for example. Over the last 24 hours, XRP takes the 3rd spot for liquidations of short positions, as you can kind of see. Okay, people are not expecting XRP to go up further, and as a result, it tends to go up further, and it tends to basically liquidate these short positions. $3.85 million of XRP has been liquidated. This is 10 million XRP has been liquidated. It is a reasonably small amount. It is effectively what, 1/5 of the Bitcoin liquidations, and Bitcoin is less than half the amount of what, you know, Ethereum liquidations are. So we should be cautious, right? We've got a lot kind of things going on here. When people expect the market to go down, we tend to think it's going up and all of those things. So just be really cautious. We might have a little bit more upward moves before we start to see that pulled back to the downside. But essentially, Elliott Wave theory is telling us we're close to the end of this structured move to the upside, and we can start thinking about maybe cooling off a little bit, taking some profits off the table, and all of that wonderful stuff. Guys, I'm going to leave this video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one.